Hello and welcome everyone to our very special episode of Empowered Filipino. Magandang umaga to all of our viewers who have joined us on our Facebook page and on Kumu. My name is Jeron and I'm the founder of Empowered Virtual Services as well as Kaya Services. Now, this show was created for our viewers who are seeking inspiration to do better and be better. We at Empowered Virtual Services are hoping that through our shows, we are able to provide hope for a brighter future, no matter what challenges we may be facing, motivation to encourage action towards whatever goal or dream we have set for ourselves, and connection to real people and their stories as a way to remind each and every one of us that when we combine hope and motivation, we can do exceptional things in our lives with our families, for our community, as well as, to create a ripple effect to make changes both locally and globally. Now, the guests who will be joining me on Empowered Filipino episodes are exceptional personalities that demonstrate their behaviors accordingly. Now, it may be through their advocacy or through their challenges and adversities they've overcome, but perhaps their ways of winning, their wins in their businesses during these trying times. And of course, by my definition, are successful and inspiring Filipinos because they too want to inspire and empower others. Now, for this episode, we have a very special guest who will join us in a bit that is truly exceptionally fun, talented, and beautiful inside and out. She's a mum, wife, CEO, and a TV and events host who is known for her high energy and one-of-a-kind stage presence. She loves to spend time with her family and shows her love for food, culture, and fiestas. But one of the things that she's truly passionate about is very close to her home. Since she loves traveling and experiences from places to places, she's continued to drive their family business that was founded in 1993, Jeron Travel and Tours. Through this, she was able to share her passion for traveling and experience by sharing her views of the world with her husband and kids along the way. Now, to know more about this amazingly talented and beautiful mompreneur, of how she was able to pivot in her life experiences in embarking, and continuing with her family business, and as well as taking care of her kids and being that high energetic TV and events host, let us all welcome Chal Chang, Lontoc del Rosario. Hi, Chal.
Hi, Yona. So happy to be here with you.
Welcome to Empowered Filipino. Thank you so much for saying yes. How are you today?
I'm great, and I'm excited. Whatever you're going to be throwing at me.
That's what I love about you, Chal. You're so game.
It's always a yes and. Always with an end. Yes.
That's so true. That's so true. I know, I've been inspired by the work that you do, and I'm so excited that you're able to share your story with us. And I know, there's many things that we could have a chat about. And I know you're a mum of two boys, a business owner, and also a TV host right now as well. And so, like any other person, you've experienced challenges along the way, and in your life in general as in business. But with all these, we're able to pivot. We all need to, reflect and transition as we need to, during our life. Now, in the same way, we created this EV show segment, Empowered Filipino, to reach more Filipino viewers and inspire them from whatever situation. And hopefully we inspire them to go in the direction of being better and doing better. So I'm really super excited to have you on. But before we get into, any formalities, so to speak, I want to play a quick game with you. Is that okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so this one's a pretty easy one, I think. It's called Guess This Filipino Travel Destination.
Oh, no. Okay, let's try it. It's okay. Go ahead.
All right. So as you know, I'll name just a little bit of the descriptions and some attributes of the place, and then you'll have to guess what Filipino destination I'm describing. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, the first thing I'm about to say, I might not even say that bit, but it's in 2018, it was said that it was the best island in the world. The paradise has been on the favorite list with its impressive, enchanting lagoons of Sohoton Cove a natural wonder that's a 2-hour detour from the Cloud9 surfing beach. I think I'm giving it away slowly. And it's the
Okay.
main island. And the main island is filled with pristine natural spots, including white sand beaches, stunning islets, and vast coconut forests, cool tidal pools. And of course, it's labeled as the Philippines surfing capital. Are you able to guess which destination this
Okay.
is?
Thank you for being kind with the clues and description. This one is Siargao. Yes, this one I know.
Yes, of course,
Literally
of course.
surfing capital, yes, but more than that, way more than that. Yes.
Exactly. So, for our viewers, Siargao contains one of the largest mangrove forest reserves in Mindanao. The name Siargao originates from this Visayan word siargao or saliargao, a mangrove species that grows all over the island. Now known as one of the top surfing destinations in the Philippines, Siargao is found west of Siargao del Norte, which is 800 kilometers from Manila, and it's a paradise destination for tourists and vacationers from all walks of life. So thank you, Chal, for playing that game with me. I was actually thinking people who all of our guests that have played are like, oh gosh, I didn't realize we were going to play a game. So I'm glad you were able to guess that one, but I had no doubt. All right. So may I request you to briefly introduce yourself to our viewers, share who you are, as well as, the business that you are the CEO of.
Okay, thank you. So you've actually mentioned it pretty well already, Yona, earlier on. So yes, I am a mom of 2 boys, happily, gladly, although crazily as well. I am quite a multitasker as well, in terms of, so you could say pretty dynamic in terms of doing Jeron travel. So I am still the general manager as well as the president or CEO, and I manage it. I take care of it. It's been more than 10 years. What we do in Jeron Travel is that we provide anything under the sun when it comes to travel. So we're travel purveyors of travel packages, domestic, international. We do domestic services, ticketing, incentive trips, name it. And now that, COVID has happened, we even had to pivot to even providing RT-PCR testings, antigens. The reason for that is because it's an added value to all the travel. It's part of the requirement and services. So we're even in that spot already. And so many more, even a little bit of events and experiences, even a little bit of retail. And we're also online right now, which is www.jerontravel.com, www.jerontravel.com. And we're trying to get in the game of really, being one of the local brands who are all there providing tickets and packages online, ready for anyone to purchase. Aside from that, you're right, I also do hosting. So right now I'm very lucky. I'm currently hosting Fiesta Filipinas, which is an effort of Department of Foreign Affairs, and trying to get people to be aware of our culture, and not just that, but also touch on certain places and tourist spots. So this one's called #Fiesta Filipinas. You can catch it on DFA's Facebook. Just go to DFA's Facebook and you'll see it, or just follow the #Fiesta Filipinas and you'll get to see the show either on YouTube or on Facebook of Department of Foreign Affairs. I also do events hosting. So yeah, and I used to do as well improv theater, and I do training as well for companies. So there's pretty much a lot. I like that you grabbed that last photo that you just showed, because that's exactly one of the last few photos on March 29th, 2020, right before.
Wow.
Yes, right before COVID,
COVID.
happened and spread with everyone. So, and that was a women empowerment event by Go
Beautiful.
Negosyo. So yeah, I had short hair then, and it's been a year.
Yeah.
I haven't cut my hair. So yeah, basically I do a lot of things. I do believe in focus, but I also believe personally that life's a buffet, and feel free to experience as much as you can, one bite at a time.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. That is such a nice way of describing it because I mean, food is something that we can all connect with. And it really gets us all together around, right? It really connects not just Filipinos, but people around the world. Now, given the fact that our show is called Empowered Filipino, for you, what does empower mean to you?
Wow. Empowered. I always believe not just in women empowerment, but in empowering people. So I would say it's just a couple of things like as simple as choices, being able to make choices. So that is empowering to anyone, being able to make choices, giving people their access not just to basic rights but even to quality of life. So for me, I would say that I do live and I'm pretty lucky and privileged, to be able to live an empowering life where I'm able to make choices, to choose my time, to choose how I spend it, to be able to make decisions, to be with my family, my kids, to be able to be creative, even in the endeavors that I'm doing, whether it's hosting, whether it's our business. So those things to me, though they sound so simple and sound so basic, those are the first access to empowering someone or being empowered, being able to choose, being able to have access to things that matter to your life or quality of life.
Yeah, no, I love that. I mean, that is so true because, unfortunately, there are situations in the world where people don't have that choice, the choice of, being able to live the life that they do want to live. So it is something that's important that, it's a good reminder for all of us that we shouldn't take the choices that we have or the choices that we have available to us for granted. And so, for you, like Chal, I know you are now the general manager and continue to be the president of the CEO of Jeron Travel. Now, was that something that you chose to do, or was that something that happened and fell into place, or how was that process? Because I know that was a family business and continues to be so.
Okay. So what happened was that ever since we were young, I think we've already had the training with both our parents to be quite involved no matter what we did. During college, I was able to touch in media, do certain commercials, get on TV, and really get into media. I even did news. And
Oh,
yeah, which is crazy because, I'm not really that serious when it comes to things, but I was able to pull off reading the news with all seriousness. But kidding aside, I was already quite involved with the company because it is a family business. But when my mom passed away almost 10 years ago, I really had to step in, and it was quite different because number one, I was really young, and here is a lot of people who are way more experienced than me in terms of their skills. uh, and I really was put into challenge as soon as I came in. I already had people doubting my capabilities. I had people stealing from me right away. Kind of like poking and testing. Like, will she know? Will she be? What would she do? And I think more than that, going into meetings with certain airlines, hoteliers, and meeting the big bosses, and they see this young girl coming in, the usual reaction would always be like, okay, so where's your boss? And I'd always joke around, oh, she's in heaven, but today I'll be with you. And that kind of lightens things up instead of starting off quite awkward. And I guess because I was really young and I was in my early 20s, and so people thought that there was something more. But eventually, I was able to prove myself because I really had to dig down and go deep, learn the process, understand what the hell is going on, and not just with travel, but even with accounting, what all these
yeah.
taxations. So when I say dynamic, it's one of the values we actually also have at Jeron Travel. But I also have to carry that values with me to be a values-based leader. So I was able to show that not just with the work that I've chosen in life, which is to be quite, dynamic with hosting, training and being able to do Jeron Travel. But even when I entered Jeron Travel, being dynamic in the sense that if I wanted to lead, I had to be able to know anything that anyone in accounting was talking about in sales and marketing and operations. So dynamic in that sense. So yeah, that's what took place. And luckily, with luck, a little luck maybe, and a lot of hard work and crazy times first, we were able to be continuously recognized, not just here in the Philippines but also internationally. Just 2 years ago, we won ASEAN BAC or Business Awards, competing with other businesses or small medium enterprises in Asia,
Wow.
for two, not one but two, and I'm very proud of it for my team. Not one but for two recognitions for as a Philippine awardee for that, for
Wow.
SME growth and for excellence in employee engagement as well. So those are two very important awards in my life that happened 2 years ago.
Wow, that is amazing. Congratulations. That is certainly something that, you should be celebrating, because those, as a leader, those two are the really growth and employee engagement. They're really important aspects of a business because they are a growth, and the employees are pretty much the backbone, or like the scale, like it's the foundation really that continues to ensure whether the growth of your business is going to go up, right? So that's amazing. Well done. And I mean, I'm not surprised at the same time, because I know how dedicated you are in really, I think, in your craft. And like, I love that you have so many hats. And some people think, if I focus on too many things, will that hinder me in becoming doing something well, like one particular thing. So for you, like, because you've got many interests, what kind of advice could you give with somebody who is thinking, should I be going into something a little bit different to my current employment or my current business? Would you advise them to keep trying something different?
Okay, I really like this question, because it took me years to also figure it out. I know a lot of people say follow your passion, and but honestly, not that word could be big and could carry a lot of pressure to some people. I mean, fresh out of college or even during college, I already had a lot of passion, for a lot of
Yeah.
things, not just one. And so, having interviewed and having dialogues, talks, for Go Negosyo also with many, many, many entrepreneurs, successful ones, no doubt about it, focus is one of the main ingredient that they have. So I had to put two and two together. A lot of passions and focus. How do you combine that? I mean, that's also quite tough. And then I realized and came across, certain thoughts like, first of all, when I interview people who are doing great, and let's just say that their business is electric wires, it's not necessarily that they're passionate about electric wires, It
Yeah.
isn't that, but somehow they do enjoy the game of it, or the infinite game, as I call it, wherein, they do deals, negotiations. So this word of passion can be quite confusing to some. It doesn't mean that just because you're passionate about food is that something that you have to pursue. It could still remain a hobby as well, and vice versa. It doesn't mean just because you're doing a business of something random, let's say, like what I said, wires, because I really
Yeah.
came across people who are successful and doing a lot and having so much money because they do wires, and it's not because they're passionate about electric wires, right? So what I came up with and what I learned along the way, and I think I got this also from the same writer, Elizabeth. I forgot her full name, but of Eat, Pray, Love, or Pray, Love, Eat, whichever it is. She was able to write another book, Maybe it's not so much so as following your passion, because that could be stressful for some people who can't even figure out what their passion is early in life or even later on in life.
Yeah.
But what if we follow our curiosity? So I actually prefer that. follow your curiosity, and who knows, that might lead to your passion, or that might lead to gold, or that might lead to success, right? So that's what I kind of, that it resonated with me, because that's what I kind of did in my life. I followed my curiosity. So if I was curious about, let's say, and you know about this, Disney's business side of things, and I realized, oh, Disney actually has a business institute, and they actually teach business, and they actually train people, and they're known for that. And why not? They actually do good and magical things in business. And then I actually was lucky enough to get the training and learn it. And then, oh, what if I share this with other people? And therefore I was able to do trainings for several people. And Yona was lucky enough to, and I'm so glad I met her through that, attend one of the classes as well. And so following your curiosity could actually lead you to something. So that's why I always say, okay, for some people, they have this straight outlook of things. This is what I'm gonna do. This is the only thing I'm gonna focus on, and they do amazing things with that. They succeed quickly and beautifully. And there are other people, I guess, that are like me, who wants to just enjoy the buffet of life. Like, let me have a little bit of snack here. Oh, that tastes great. What about this taste? They're more for taste and trying things. And it doesn't mean that you won't be successful. It just means a different brand of success for you, which is probably to be able to experience life differently, to be able to get as much out of it. And you can still focus. I think my trick here is, if I'm guesting here right now, I'm guesting here right now. Later on, I'll be doing a Zoom meeting for work for Jeron Travel, and I'm there. I'm 100% there. And if I'm hosting and hosting and entertaining people or interviewing someone, I'm fully there as well, and focus right there, present at that moment. So that's just me. And I do believe that there are many kinds of people and many likes and many things. So aside from just teaching people to just go straight A's with one passion or be focused with one thing, it's also nice to realize that there are people who are buffet eaters.
That's true. So, like, in comparison to a restaurant, like, life could be like an a la carte or buffet, right? And
That's true.
it doesn't mean you have to stick to one. It might mean that you just, go to either menus. It just depends on your life circumstances at that point in time, correct?
Yes, well said, well said. And I like how we're choosing food to make everyone understand this, because we can all relate to food.
It's so true. I'm sure there are people who are going to be nodding their heads. And so I love that. Like, I just feel that, I think because the people who receive advice that, they should only be focusing on one, and you've proven that it's possible. It is possible to be able to really enjoy life, one bite at a time. So that is a beautiful. Go ahead.
Thank you. No, I just wanted to add, it's not just me, because I also came to realize it's not a millennial thing. It's been ever since. Our own national hero in the Philippines, Jose Rizal, is a doctor. He does fencing. He's a writer. He's a hero. He's a lover boy. So, I mean, he's got all of these slashes,
Yeah.
his name. And so it's been a thing ever since before. And even Michelangelo, you've got these people who are painters, but also scientists, and a mix of everything. So, and I realized, hey, if they were able to do it in their time, what else now for us?
Yes. So that is, oh wow, what a great reminder. You are absolutely right. Like, I just realized that, with Dr. Jose Rizal, he really, you're right, he had so many slashes. And it didn't make him less of an expert in another. In actual fact, I feel like because of his passion in every single one, it actually made him better to be that, as well as it complements the other things that he was doing. So that was a great reminder. Thank you so much about that. That was I really love that, because he's also somebody that is critical in the history of the Philippines. And I think if we actually focus on that point, which Chal has greatly reminded us, that we can be great at many things, and it's really about the focus that we put in each one of them. So if we do want to ensure that we, stay empowered to be the best person that we could be, we can do that as long as we focus on that. And that is, I absolutely love that, Chal. Thank you so much. You quickly touched on the fact that Jeron Travel has gone through, has pivoted, given the fact that, we've gone through a pandemic. Are you able to show or share with us just briefly how you've overcome those challenges? So, obviously you're in the travel industry, and what made you decide, oh, you know what, I think we should offer testing, or, what other, in terms of the other pivots that you've had to decide along the way?
Okay, so I just want to say first, before I talk about all these wonderful things that we were able to do during this pandemic, that being here in the travel industry, I always joke around to people that, hey, I'm here to make you feel better. What else could be worse than being in the travel industry during these times? But kidding aside, it is one of the most affected industry. I do believe it's one of the last as well who will recover, because not until majority of people could get vaccinated, or a country really gets to get better, then there would be no back to normal international travel for anyone. And domestic travel, as beautiful as it is still on the red given the spikes for us. And not just that, it's also not sustainable for everyone to do just domestic travel, because of course, the locals won't need guides anymore. They just go direct to the resorts or tours. They kind of forgo it, so on and so forth. So what I'm trying to say is that, yes, I will be sharing a lot of wonderful things we've done, even successful things that we've done, but it doesn't mean that we're out of the red, or out of the, we're still trying to survive. It's still a process, and I want people out there, not just to think of us like, wow, if they could do it, we could do it, but also, oh, here I am sharing our vulnerability with things, and that's okay. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be in this position, and do know you're not alone. Okay, here I am talking about it and still being able to make jokes about it. Okay, so here are some of the things that we did to pivot. Earlier on, we really were clueless, especially March and April, and I thought it was just going to be a 3-month thing like everyone else, 1 or 2 or 3, and thought we'd get back to it right away. But no, of course, it still really depends on all the other forms of leadership we have, whether it's through government, LGU, and so on and so forth. So what we did is we actually partnered with our suppliers. We also offer farm tours, and so we wanted to be there for others first. And so we helped, and we sold produce. Can you believe it? We sold produce, and we're not in the retail industry. We don't sell products. We sell services and experiences more than anything. But then we realized, if it could help them, and it's still selling an experience, which is to be able to support all of these wonderful agri-tours that we used to provide, then why not? And lucky for us, ever since before, we were pushing for being dynamic within everyone in the team. So it wasn't hard to adjust and to move around like, no, I'm the cashier. Why will I do this? So, or no, I'm a travel service provider. Why will I do this? So everyone came together and really tried to help one another. That's one of the things that we did. And then we also launched similar, just a little similar to EVS, because we also value learning in Jeron Travel. We used to have internally KKK series, which is kakaibang klase, which just means, a different kind of learning or a different way of learning, kakaibang klase, Jeron University, under a Jeron University. And it's an internal thing that we make our team experience, but we said, you know what, why don't we bring it out now and bring it to Facebook Live and so on and so forth. So we've had wonderful interviews with that. And then we also reached out to different partners from all around the world, people in the travel industry, pilots, stewardess, and really get their stories. what's happening to them right now, how they actually are pivoting. And so we shared that as well. And it was beautiful. To me, it was one of the things that also helped bring along people. Aside from that, we even sold experiential boxes. So we had it twice. One is, yeah, a world of dumplings. So
Yeah.
we basically got a wonderful friend of mine, Chef Jen Slagle, and basically what happens is, okay, if you want to travel to Taiwan, we'll send you a box full of Taiwanese recipes and all the best ingredients ready to make already, and then you come on board and travel with us by taste on a certain day, and Chef Jen will be
Love
teaching
it.
you how to make milk tea, because Taiwan is one of our number one products or experiences out there for people. So milk tea, Taiwan chopped chickens, Taiwan beef noodles, and we all
Oh my
created it
God.
together. Same thing with so that's travel to Korea, Japan, everywhere in the Philippines. We have our own little way of doing dumplings with soup. So we put it all in a box and we put it all together with a live community-based show, and everyone tried to learn that. So that's another thing we did. And then later on, having done all of these buffet of things and following our curiosity, like, oh, what should we do? What would we work? What would be great? Then we realized, okay, now that travel is starting to pick up a little bit more, requirements are happening, and one of the requirements is and so we decided, you know what, if it could add value to us, make us more of a one-stop shop, so they don't have to go look for this and that. We get to provide it, even inside their homes as well, by making it home service. Then then there's more chance of us not just earning, but making people's travel decisions easier and more
Yeah.
knowledgeable for them as well. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I know because I follow you on Instagram, and oh my God, when you released the experience in a box, I was like, I wish I could get that like in Australia because it was like, especially the dumplings, like it was just all of the things I absolutely love to eat and drink, and it's so amazing. And but yeah, you're right. Like it doesn't necessarily mean that you're out of the red, like what you said. But at least it shows that you continue to think dynamically, and I think it's important that to showcase to our viewers that it's okay to feel all the feels, I suppose, that comes along with being a business owner, but at the same time also knowing that you're not alone. And so it's important that there are business owners like yourself who share these stories, because this is one of the reasons why I wanted to have this segment, because people automatically assume that, oh, this is what we see in social media. Oh, it must be perfect, or things must be just going great. And so it's important that we talk about the adventures, the journey, because it's really in success, right? It's not just about the destination, it's the journey towards that destination. So thank you so much for sharing, sharing with us the truths and just the challenges that you've experienced, especially in the past year. And I'm sure there are many others, but it's just I can't keep you on for like 2 hours, but but I know you have to go because you're a very busy lady. But for my last question, what is something that you think?
Oh, we still have a little bit of time.
Oh, you do? Okay. Because I didn't want to keep you because you're very busy with your meetings and whatnot. So, you know, what is something? Actually, I'm going to ask you two last questions. What has been like an advice that you've received in your life that has really stuck with you, and why has that made an impact in your life?
Wow. I get a lot of advice. I'm quite a sponge when I get interested with something and I hear something. Oh, that's beautiful. I mean, follow your curiosity is not from me. That's from the writer that I mentioned earlier on. And I thought that was beautiful, and I carried it with me to make some sense of what I'm doing. But I think one of the advice that I've really heard is from my mom, who really just made a beautiful impact in my life no matter what. And it's been, she's passed away quite a long time ago, but this will always stick in my head, wherein she says, because I'd always be like, oh, life's unfair, and she'd say, no, life is fair. And I'd be like, no, that's not true. Some people have disabilities, and some people don't have the same resources. And then she would say, yes, you could not have maybe lose an eye, lose one ear, lose one hand, lose one feet, but we all have 24 hours in a day. And that's what makes it fair time. So it all depends on what you're going to do with that particular time. Everyone has 24 hours a day. And so it really stuck to me, like, okay, this no excuses attitude. Like, okay, if you say you're going to go for it, go for it. Or if you feel like, oh, maybe I don't have the advantage or the added resources needed to do something, to get something, but then I do have time. And if I do put in the time, then maybe that would make a difference. So that one has really, really, really stuck to me. And although, sometimes I forget it here and now, then I remember, okay, so especially during this pandemic when everyone's having a hard time, like we all had time, we were all at home. So what could we do to make use of that time to be able to either even survive or to flourish, whichever way.
Yes, exactly. I mean, that's a choice we make, right? It's either we have to choose whether we're going to thrive and survive, as opposed to the other way around. And I just love that. That's a really great advice from your mom. I think that is so amazing. It's it's true. Like, that's a really great reminder that time is so precious, and it's also, we need to ensure that what we do in our valuable time, it really has to work towards something that we, either our advocacy or what it is that we're trying to achieve, or just for ourselves. And I love that. And I know that I've seen, like, sometimes on your social media that at like 11 p.m. you would be working out. And I'm telling you, this lady, she does make the most of her 24 hours in the day, because I would literally, I don't even know why I'm awake at that time. Maybe I'm with my son, but I'm just like, Chals working out at this time.
Oh, I think it kind of reminds me of something, Yona, and you probably would remember it. Because you mentioned perfection earlier on, and I don't subscribe to that, because not at all, because I have so much imperfections. But one of the things that we teach in Made for Excellence with Kimmy, one of the trainings that we do and workshops that we do, is that excellence has nothing to do with perfection, zero. But it has everything to do with what would you do if you knew. So that line came from one of my heroes during this pandemic. Aside from Simon Sinek, this one, I forget his name. I'll get it later. But so what would you do if you knew? And we teach that in our workshops. The reason why is that excellence is if you saw a piece of paper on the floor or trash, what would you do if you knew? You know that the trash is there. Maybe it's not your job. Maybe it's not something you really have to do, but you saw it and it's there. So excellence is you picking it up, putting it in the trash, because you knew it was there. And so for certain types of work, the phone is ringing. Let's just say you're in the office, the phone is ringing and it's not your job. It's 3 rings already. You know in the 4th ring, whoever is calling would feel like, oh, what's this office? It's probably not efficient or what. So what would you do if you knew? Do you pretend not to hear it, or do you pick it up? That is excellence. So it kind of ties up pretty well with the 24 hours. Like, okay, I know I have time to do this, but but don't get me wrong, I also have a lot of time to rest, meaning I choose to have a lot of time of rest. So sometimes I would just pause myself and like, look, I can do this tomorrow. I need a breather too. And there are more important things. And if they are, then, and I know that it's not really entirely just on me, but I know about it, then what would I do about it? And so that's the reason why we also put in the workshop, like I knew at the time leadership was one of the things that no one was really learning in school, no one was teaching, but we very much needed it, and people were
Yeah.
craving about it, and that's why you got people ranting on Facebook and on Twitter. So we said, you know what, no one's if leadership is what we need, then we need to learn about it. And so what would you do if you knew? So we said,
Yeah.
okay, let's do our part. I
Yeah.
want to rant, but I'll do my part. So I'm going to teach more about leadership.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yes. It's that term where they say if you can't beat them, join them, but join them in the way of knowledge, in educating
I
ourselves
like
in order
that.
to, yeah, educate ourselves in order for us to be able to empower others through education as well. Because it's really important. That is so crucial that, we can rant and rave on about certain things that we don't like, but as opposed to doing that and continue to do that, what are ways that we can actually counteract that? So I love that you're sharing more about leadership, and it's so important. And I just love how, you're so open to, I guess you could say it's like, being perfectly imperfect. Like we accept the fact that we all have our, we all still have areas of development, but we are okay to do that. And it's okay to have those things because that allows us to then continue to be curious, to continue to be curious, to arm ourselves with new knowledge, new experiences, and a lot of which are that we could do even through things in travel. In travel would be even through technology, which is really amazing. I've got so many things I want to talk about, but I know I got one last question. Okay, Chal. I think for all of us, given everything that's going on, and perhaps the future, what is something that you think we can collectively do to empower others, to empower others?
Wow. How do we empower others? Maybe the question would be for me, how do I think I empower others? Well, one thing is that to be able to use your voice. I mean, we don't need to be like screaming at the top of our lungs. Thank you, social media. But it's more of like not just sharing our opinions, because I think there's already a lot of opinions out there, and I do share my opinion very strongly about things, but also sharing the knowledge, sharing facts, sharing data, sharing beautiful thoughts from thought leaders. So that's a very simple way to do things, but I do believe that when someone sees that, they feel empowered, and once they resonate to that, hey, I like that, I think that's brilliant, and it kind of opens up doors to them. Share ideas. This is
Yeah.
one thing I always do. I feel like if you share ideas, you come from a place of abundance,
Yeah.
meaning you're not scared to run out of ideas. You're not, I'm going to keep this, it's just mine. And so you're coming more from a place of abundance, because then I could always recreate this, think of something new, share this idea. Who knows who I could collaborate with later? Who knows what I can create with this? And if it is a bad idea, well, then good. I was able to share it, and people were able to tell me at least it's a bad idea. So I learned from it. So
Yes.
I think it's very empowering when people share ideas, and then it opens up to collaborate. And I'm a big collaborator. I do crazy things to collaborate with people. Sometimes it makes sense. Most of the time, thankfully, it does. But that's another way, because I feel like when we show people that we're willing to work with them, create things with them, or create moments, whatever it is, it gives, I think it empowers people. It makes them think that, hey, I was able to do this with someone, then maybe I could share it and do something else with someone too. And I believe, like, Kimmy, she's a common friend of ours. She's a life coach. And the fact that she believed in me to be able to train people. Now I'm able to open doors as well for other people and collaborate with them, and hopefully it gives that ripple effect. Or when I'm able to share my time, to share my stories, then I believe someone, just one person hearing it
Yeah.
would feel empowered and say, hey, what could be as worse as being in the travel industry during a pandemic? If she
Mm,
can do it, and if she could still be smiling and, trying to be positive about things, all the more for me. So those little ways sound so
yeah.
little, but
Yeah.
you know that, right? The butterfly effect, like one flap of wing from a butterfly could, from whichever country, could actually affect and ripple out time, wind, whatever, and affect everyone. So I think that's
Yeah.
very empowering.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Chal, if I could, I would just be like, yes, yes, yes. Everything that you said, I was just like, that is exactly, I mean, I think this is the reason why, like, I feel like, I connect with you and I really admire the work that you do and the voice that you use, because that is exactly what, what we at EVS are trying to do. It's that ripple effect, because when you empower just one person, that impacts their family, and one family can then impact the community, and one
Yeah.
community can then impact locally the country, and from there we can make global changes too. And I just absolutely
Well
everything that
said,
you just said.
Jonah. Well said. I love what you said. I know a lot about of what you're doing, and I really, really look up to you as well. I mean, you do have your kids and your mom as well, and then here you are. And I'll be honest, dealing with people is not the easiest of things. Of course, there are quirks. Everyone has their different ways, but you see, if everyone just strive to have that little bit of excellence, like this could just be a simple email. This could just be making coffee for someone every single day. This could just be me cleaning up the toilet for someone every day, or sending an email, or making a courteous text, whatever it is. But then, because I know that if I made it better and if I did it properly, it could brighten someone's day. It could make someone feel comfortable. It could create the best business deals later. It Who knows what else it could do, right? So well said. I love what you said. From one person to a family to a community to a country. I love that.
Yeah, no, 100%. And this is what we strive for. And this is, you know personally how I've tried to create my why, and that is a lot of that really falls a lot into that. And I'm so thankful and grateful that you have joined us. And for anybody who wants to reach out or wants to know more about Jeron Travel, where can they find you, Chal?
Okay, so thank you for this, Yona. You can check us out at www.Jeron Travel. That's JERON travel.com. And you'll enjoy the site. You'll be able to check out for tickets, packages, experiences, or just dream away, of post-COVID, and check it out there. Also follow us on IG, and on Facebook at Jeron Travel. Not only are we showing you destinations and packages, but we're also, sharing articles and advisories for travel, so that people would know, like, what can they do now, especially now that it keeps changing. I think it's very important for any person out there who loves to travel. You can also follow me at Chang. That's my maiden name. Chal Chang, Chang. And to see the crazy dynamic life that I live in. Uh, let's learn from each other and have fun together there. Before I go, I just want to say thank you so much, Yona, for making time and for giving me this space, and for reminding me about this. Of course, I'd always love to say yes, and I'd give more. I just think that what you're doing is so, so beautiful. What EVS and what Kaya as well is doing, it's more than just the work or the business that we have in it. But I know because I've heard your why over and over. It really is about empowering people. So thank you. And thank you also for, trying to push for the best traits and for the best version of a Filipino as well. I know that you do that too. So yeah, thank you. I'm so happy and proud to be here today with you.
Oh, thank you so much, Chal, for joining me today for another episode of Empowered Filipino. I know that you will continue to create more joy and travel experiences and new learnings for yourself as well as your family and your teams, and thank you so much for your time today. I know, you have another meeting to go off to, but thank you for sharing your thoughts and sharing your own personal journey, because I think you're right, even us just sharing our own stories and our own journeys will help. If it helps with just one person, that's amazing, but if we are able to help more, then we it's a blessing, right? So thank you again, Chal, and we'll definitely be keeping in touch for sure.
Wonderful. Bye.
Bye. Oh wow, how amazing was that? I just think, Chal, on a personal note for me, I met Chal through Kimmy Lu, the Pioneer Life Coach of the Philippines, and Chal really was one who really opened my eyes out, who opened my eyes about striving for excellence. And it's not about the big excellence or anything like that. It's about the little things that we can do to make it more enjoyable or comfortable for another person. Because really, at the end of the day, it's about the experiences that we make for other people, because it's, like what Simon Sinek said, and I know Chal follows him. It's people don't remember, what you say or do, but they remember how you made them feel. So it's important for us that we continue to empower people through our excellence, using our voice properly and responsibly. And when sharing facts and sharing data and actual facts, not just hearsay or what I've heard, because we really have a responsibility to each other to ensure that we create a space where we are able to hear thoughts that will empower each other, as opposed to scaring one another. And so I really hope that you enjoyed our episode as much as I did. And, please continue to empower others a way in which you are able to, be it big or small, because it really is about that ripple effect. So thank you to our Facebook Live and Kumu viewers. Maraming salamat. We here at EVS really believe that every Filipino can make a difference in whatever field that they are in. We can stand up to greater heights and inspire more Filipinos anywhere in the world to be better and do better. So maraming salamat sa inyong lahat, and let's keep empowering. Bye everyone.